BMW's first generation X1 was something of a half-hearted effort. Clearly the company wanted something smaller than its X3 to take on the highly successful Audi Q3, but what it ended up with was a crossover estate which didn't really exude the kind of appeal it had hoped for. So the question is this second generation X1 a more convincing package? The new X1 wants to be taken a little more seriously than its predecessor. As a result, BMW has made the new car bigger and taller, with more interior space and a loftier ride height. The styling also reflects this newfound earnest. It looks beefier and more muscular, more like a scaled-down X3 in fact, which is a good thing. Our test car is the flagship xDrive 25i, equipped with the smarter aesthetics of the xLine package, which adds around 24,000 Rand to the asking price. At least there's no doubt that this Generation 2 X1 wants to be an SUV. It has a sense of purpose that its predecessor simply didn't have. And while it's a lot smaller than the X3, it has very similar proportions. And besides, small is a relative term here. At 4.44 meters long, 1.82 meters wide and 1.6 meters tall, this is certainly not that compact a vehicle. It's doubtful that owners of the X1 xDrive 25i will have any intention of tackling true off-road terrain. At 183mm, ground clearance is only adequate in go-anywhere terms, while a multi-plate clutch and clever electronics transfer power from the front to the rear wheels when extra traction is required. Thus, the X1 remains more soft-roader than hardcore 4x4, with all-terrain talents that go beyond those of a normal sedan or hatch, but won't allow you to tackle much more than mild gravel or sand. What this X1 lacks in outright 4x4 capability, it makes up for with swift dynamics and crisp handling. 110 kilowatt per ton means that it's pretty quick off the mark, the 0 to 100 times 6.5 seconds, which is very much GTI territory, and the top speed a very useful 235 kilometers an hour. The fuel consumption claims are optimistic, however. BMW claims 6.4 litres per 100 kilometres for the combined cycle, but our test figure was closer to 8 litres per 100 kilometres. Even so, the 61-litre tank promises a 1000k plus open-road cruising range. Despite the elevated seating position, this X1 feels more like a car than an SUV. The handling is very positive, the attitude neutral in the corners, and it really is a lot of fun pressing on. I have to say though, there is a lot of road noise from these run-flat Pirelli tyres, and maybe BMW should have tried a bit harder on the noise insulation front. On sandy gravel or rain-slick roads, you'll find that the X1 retains plenty of composure, with the all-wheel drive system keeping things nice and tidy, even if you get too enthusiastic. The elevated ride height helps to clear obstacles, but as I've said before, don't head too far off the beaten track. While many X1 buyers will probably opt for the 2-litre turbo diesel, this 2-litre turbo petrol engine is just the right choice for people who like to drive with a bit of enthusiasm. It delivers a very useful 170 kilowatt of maximum power at 5,000 RPM, linked to a fat 350 Newton meters of torque, and that torque already available at just 1,250 RPM. The 4-cylinder serves up big dollops of torque the moment you floor the throttle, and mid-range response is impressive. It always feels bigger and more muscular than expected, pulling strongly in every gear and delivering impressive tractability. It's like having a turbo diesel for the torque, but with a free-revving refinement of a petrol. A slick Steptronic 8-speed auto is standard, but shift paddles would have been a welcome addition to make the most of the sequential manual mode. No complaints about the interior, however. Drivetrains aside, one of the biggest improvements of this new X1 is the interior. The knee room at the back has grown by almost 4 centimeters, and the cargo bay now offers 505 litres of luggage space, which is 85 litres more than before. A highlight is the adjustable rear seat, which can be moved fore and aft to either create extra legroom or more cargo space. The bench seat is split 60-40. Driver-focused ergonomics, intuitive controls, and plenty of luxury and convenience come as no surprise. A generous color screen linked to the iDrive control interface provides easy access to a comprehensive array of infotainment features, including BMW's growing array of online capabilities. The instruments stick to the tried and trusted analog formula, while the finishes are smart without becoming stuffy. Indeed, the X1 exudes a certain youthfulness that will appeal to younger buyers, yet never pretends to be hip or happening either. And in the best BMW tradition, it is enjoyable to pilot. The ongoing preference for smaller vehicles linked to the growing demand for SUVs worldwide are two of the key factors that underpin the reason why this X1 is such an important car for BMW. It's certainly a big step up from its predecessor, and it does deliver the sophistication and the dynamics that the brand implies. The front-wheel drive S20D is probably the better buy because it's more than 100,000 Rand cheaper than this flagship model. But if you like the extra traction and want the extra power, you won't be disappointed. A lusty engine with plenty of brio and good load-on tractability linked to an excellent 8-speed gearbox provides surprising dynamic appeal, while the all-wheel drive provides extra traction without blunting response. The smart adjustable interior and ample boot are further highlights. However, the road noise levels are unforgivable for a vehicle that's sophisticated and enjoyable in all other respects.